Alright, welcome students, YouTubers, and everyone else. So this is Darby, and right now we're doing oil pastel practicing. So basically I just used a paper towel to softly clean the oil pastel in here. I'm just trying to get that ball there, so we practice those muscle memory technique to get that ballish figure there. And now we're laying out the light source, and so we're going to make a quick little light marker there saying that's where the light's coming from, so we know where to do our shadows. And so I'm using a soft blue because I have a brownish paper. If I have a blue paper, I'm going to probably use a different color. Just lightly, you don't really have to do that, but I'm throwing down where I want my white to be. And so the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick a color, and I'm going to do contour lines. So they're going to go around the surface of the object. So that's why I have that arcing motion. Very important to give the illusion of a sphere of depth. And so I'm not covering the paper completely with the oil pastel. If you can see, there's a lot of white still in the paper. And so that's what we want to do there. I'm using light pressure, not pushing hard. So you should still be able to see the white, or the brown in this case. Right here I take a darker blue, and I'm pushing a little bit harder on the corner where the shadow would be, and then I use less pressure as I go up through the ball, and I'm making sure I have more of the shadow on the far side. And these colors are mostly arbitrary, mostly. So once again, now I'm just layering. I'm using a lighter color here. I'm particularly using the orange and the blue because they're complementary colors, so the idea is I'm going to get a muted brown. And so I lightly on the top where the highlight's going to be, and then I go a little bit more so where the dark blue is, where the shadow is going to be. So that's roughly how I do that. So now we're taking a look at here. Now I have a little bit of a yellow. It's more of a golden yellow, I believe. I'm using a little bit more pressure, it looks like. Yeah, because I'm editing this in the past or the future. Either way. Anyway, and so now I got a white. I want to add a little bit more pressure. And I'm using a peach, if I remember it. Yep, I'm using a peach kind of to blend everything. And now I'm going over with a white and adding firm pressure. Now I'm using these really cool things called fingers. And I'm still following the contour of the shape. If you go opposite directions, you're going to lose that illusion. And so now, the bottom third of the ball, I put out a line there. And that way it's not floating in midair, and we're using a long stroke, which I explained in the previous video. Just basically a lot of horizontal strokes. I'm using a yellow ochre, yellow, brown. I might use some sort of orange red. And I'm just layering in the colors here. A lot of my students in class don't use enough oil, so when they go to blend with their finger, they don't get much coverage because the oil doesn't smear very far because there's not enough oil. So don't be afraid to put too much oil on, because you can always fix that. Over here I put a towel over the ball so I didn't smudge that or get it dirty with my dirty fingerprints. Alright, now moving on here, I'm using that same dark blue from earlier and adding in a shadow on that shadow side and blending it again. Smearing out the edges there so it's not a hard line but a soft line. And now I'm using purple for the background. This purple is a complementary color of yellow, and the ball is kind of yellowish. And so the idea is it's going to pop forward because it's a lighter, brighter color. And I'm using dark blue on the left, and I'm going to use like a baby blue on the right. And once again, that's going to help the illusion of the ball come forward in space. So ideally, I'd probably work a lot longer on this to continue to add to the illusion, but this whole process took me about 15 minutes or so. Yeah, about 15 minutes. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, let me know. If you feel the need, like or subscribe, and thanks again.